بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أنبياء الله جميعا وعلى سيدهم وخاتمهم حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه المنتجبين ومن تبعهم بإحسان وإيمان إلى يوم الدين. My friends, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So tonight we're going to discuss one of the important verses in the Quran in chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, verse 34. This verse speaks about the relationship between the husband and the wife, the male and the female, the man and women, within the institution of family, and who has bigger responsibility when it comes to maintaining and taking care of the family. Who has the bigger responsibility? We mentioned this, just to recap what I mentioned last time, that there are different opinions when it comes to this verse. There are two main opinions. The verse is in Surah An-Nisa, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. The translation of it is, men are, according to some translations, upholders and maintainers of women by virtue of that in which God has favored some of them above others. Some of them above others. And by virtue of their spending from their wealth. So here we stop, because the rest of the verse, we need to spend more time explaining the rest of this verse, verse 34. But here, tonight, we're going to discuss only this first part. One group believes that قوامون here means guardianship. It means controllers. In some translations, according to them, they understand it as being superior, being better, being more favored, being in control and in charge, being the guardians of their women. This is how they think. Not only in the institution of family, but also outside, in the society. And this is why, according to them, to this first group, women have to obey, blindly obey men in every aspect of life. Therefore, women are not qualified to run the society. They are not qualified to run for office. They are not qualified to assume political leadership of their societies. They are not qualified to be judges, to sit on the bench. So they have to be excluded from government, from the court system, judiciary system, from every leadership post. They cannot be presidents. They cannot even be, let's say, presidents of universities, let alone governments. This is their view. Because men are superior to them. They believe that God endowed men, only men, with the responsibility of leadership in the society. Therefore, women need a chaperone, a guardian, when they travel, when they are engaged in transactions, in business, in any type of relationship they need a guardian. So before marriage, the guardian is the father. After marriage, the guardian is the husband. And if the husband dies, one day he goes back to his Lord, or he divorces her and she doesn't have a husband, then her son is her guardian. This is the view of one group of jurists, which are found in both traditions in Islam. Both traditions. We come to the view of the second group of scholars, who reflect on this book. They use two tools to understand God's language. One is reflection. لِيَتَدَبَّرُوا تَدَبُّر. We need to reflect. We cannot get the verse, the meaning of the verse out of context, out of social, historical, theological, philosophical contexts. We can't. We cannot translate or explain any verse out of contexts. It becomes very dangerous. So number one tool they use, tadabbur, reflection, meditation on the Quran. Because Quran, this book, this holy book, Quran, يُفَسِّرُ بَعْضُهُ بَعْضًا. Part of this book explains the other part. So if we come across a part which is vague, we can find the meaning of it in a different part, in a different chapter. So this is one tool. Reflection. They use intelligence. Ar-Rahmanu allama al-Quran, chapter 55. The gracious, the most gracious, begins by saying, Ar-Rahman, the most gracious, allama al-Qur'ana, khalaqa al-insana, allamahu al-bayan. God gifted us, endowed us with intelligent thinking. Intelligence. So we use our intelligence, number one. Number two, we use the Prophet. The Prophet is our reference. The Prophet and his household, his family, Ahlul Bayt. He said, I am going to leave behind two main sources of legislation for your protection, my ummah. Those are for your protection. If you follow them, you are not going to divert. Kitab Allah, this book, the book of the Lord, wa'itrati, my family. They explain this book to you. So don't go left and right. Go to the right answer. So this second group, when they come to this word and term qawwamun, they say it means upholders and maintainers. In the family, we need a manager. We need a caretaker. We need a protector. We need an administrator. Whether the family is made of 20 people or 2 people, doesn't matter. We need a manager. And this manager cannot act by himself only. He has to act in consultation, in harmony with his wife. It's about consultation. Family is based on tashawur, cooperation, dialogue. They sit together, they discuss their affairs. We don't have an upper hand. God did not say always men have upper hand and they have to control and women have to listen to them blindly. That does not work. This is a failed family. This is a non-Islamic family. This is a dark age family. This is a tribal family. This is not an Islamic family. In the Islamic family, we speak to each other. God has given us intelligence. He has given us tongue and language and mantiq and logic. So we sit and we discuss. Whether it's regarding, buying a house, changing your career, it's about your kids, how to raise your kids, what school you send your kids to, which country you live in. You must dialogue with each other. You must sit together and discuss the pros and the cons, and then you decide in a democratic manner. Then if someone might ask me, then if we need consultation, then why God says, الرجال قوامون على النساء? Men are upholder of women. Upholder does not mean that they are dictators, my friends. It means that their responsibility is bigger. Their service is bigger. It's about responsibility. It's not about right of control. It's about responsibility. It's about working harder. Because God say they are fit for this, and He also says the reason. Don't go too far. He says, بما أنفقوا من أموالهم. بما أنفقوا, by virtue of their spending from their wealth. Because the husband is responsible for the family. He is the breadwinner. He goes outside, he works, he's responsible for paying the mortgage, the rent, the bills from A to Z. Therefore, he becomes a maintainer of the family. Now, the question is here. Does God mean when God says قوامون, men are maintainers for women, does he mean that only males he meant, or he meant something else? Is God trying to say in this verse that it should be only male who is in charge of the family, not females? Only males. This is what he's trying to say? Or he's trying to say that males are in charge of maintaining the family and protecting it and taking care of it because of certain qualifications that they have, certain credentials that they possess. Which one? The first or the second? The scholars believe the second. It's not because they are merely men. It's not about their gender. It's about their credentials, their qualifications. They are more able to undertake this responsibility. More able. Because of their physical structure and because of their psychological and physiological structure too. It enables them to defend the family. Nowadays, my friends, don't look at nowadays and compare it to yesterday. Nowadays, a female can live by herself in any apartment in New York City, in Los Angeles, in London, in Paris, in Rome. She can take care of herself by herself. She can be alone. But in other countries, and during the past times, women could not survive by themselves. They needed the protection of a man. They needed his physical protection. When Quran came to Arabia, a man had to have a sword ready. It's like some people in America when they buy a gun and the gun is always ready. He had to have a sword. Every day and night. He carries the sword with himself to protect his family because he could be under attack any moment. They could raid his tent, his neighborhood, his house, any moment. So he has to be ready. This is why God said, men are maintainers and defenders. قوامون على النساء. Now, the question is, fair enough, the question is, if men do not have that sort of credentials and qualifications, they are not ready to defend the family. Maybe they are physically challenged, maybe psychologically challenged, maybe something else. Maybe they are too lazy. They cannot defend. Maybe they are very intelligent, they are professors of universities, they are philosophers, they are genius. But when it comes to defending the family, taking care of the financial responsibility, the moral responsibility of the family, the educational responsibility of the family, the spiritual responsibility of the family, they are not ready. They are not qualified. They can't. So who's going to be in charge? Again, the same man who's not qualified? No. In this case, women are in charge. If women are qualified, they are in charge. Because God is speaking about the credentials. He's not speaking about gender. He's not saying only this gender has to be in charge. He says because this gender usually, normally has these qualifications, then he has to be in charge. But a day comes that a man in one country, in one society, in one family does not have these credentials. His wife is stronger than him. So who maintains the family in this case? Still him? Still, despite his disabilities, he will be in charge? No. In this case, the wife. In this case, the female, the mother. She is قوامون in this case. She is in charge because she has these credentials, physical, mental, psychological, to take care of the family. And the husband has failed. Sometimes husbands are reluctant. They are very intelligent. They are very physically fit. You know, they have everything. The only thing, they don't want to do that. They are arrogant. They leave the family. They don't want to accept this responsibility. So who's going to be in charge? Still that man who's lazy, too lazy to take care of his family? In this case, it's not the man. It's the woman. It's qawamun, the wife. Are you with me, my friends? Now, my friends, if this is the case, that qawamah according to the Quran means maintaining the family. And sometimes it's not necessarily the man, it could be the female who's in charge in this position, because she has more qualifications than him. She is better than him in managing the affairs of the family. If this is the case, then why, when we read this book, we don't find any name of a female messenger of God? And God said, sent only male messengers and prophets and apostles. Why females are excluded? What is the answer? In chapter 16, Surah An-Nahl, verse 43, God says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا نُوحِي إِلَيْهِمْ فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. We sent no messenger before you, O Muhammad, save men, only men, who received revelation from their Lord. Now some people come and say, look, God himself in his book, he says, we only sent male messengers, we did not send female messengers, and this means that they are unqualified for leadership, to be messengers of God. They are not good for this job. Other people argue that, look at the Quran, even Islam has detracted a view of women. Because God says in his book, only men are qualified. We only sent men as messengers of God. So what is the answer, my friends? The answer is, this verse came at a time where the idolaters of Mecca, the Meccans, the pagans, they argued with the Prophet. They said to him, we cannot accept you as being the messenger of God. Why? Because you are a mortal, you are a human being, just like us. And God, this God who's too great and too big, God is the omnipotent, God is the omniscient, God who is the creator of this universe. God cannot be represented by a human being. He must send someone who's above a human being, and that person should be an angel. God is refuting their request. God is saying that no, I am sending a messenger on purpose. I want him to be a human being. I want him to be one of you. I want him to share the feelings with you. Because if I send someone who's alien, stranger, he doesn't know what is going on. If we bring a scholar from outside America who does not speak English, he doesn't know anything about America, and now he wants to give consultation, advice to the people in this country. He wants to speak to women, he wants to speak to the young generation, to the youth, to the adults, and solve their problems. And he has no clue about America. He doesn't speak the language. He knows nothing about the culture. Would he be successful in his mission? He can't. Because he's unaware. He's ignorant of what is going on. You need to know what is happening. Therefore, God said to the Meccans, I am sending Muhammad, and I know he's a human. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ. Yes, he is a human. Because I want to send a leader from within you. Someone from you, who knows you very well, who knows what we need, who knows our strengths as well as our weaknesses, so he can give us the best advice. If I send an angel, angel is going to be alien to you. Angels, they have no desires. They don't eat, they don't drink, they don't sleep, they don't rest, they don't have families. So they cannot even give you the best advice. They are strangers, aliens. This is why we send humans. So when God said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن قَبْلِكَ إِلَّا رِجَالًا, we said men, he was trying to say that my messengers to the humanity are humans, but not necessarily. He didn't mean to say they are male. He didn't say male. He said men, and men in this context means humans, my friends. Rijalan in this context of the Quran implies that the prophets and messengers are humans, not angels. They carry human characteristics. So God did not necessarily mean to say that they are males. Rijalan means they are humans. You asked for angels, I did not send angels. I'm going to send humans. This is number one. Number two, we find in the same book, my friends, this is the Holy Quran. Come to the story of the mother of Moses. She's a female. God says about her, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضِعِيهِ. We inspired her. Wahi here does not mean revelation. It means inspiration. So God talked to her what to do when she was busy carrying the baby Moses and the enemies were running after her to murder the baby. God revealed to her. God inspired her. God guided her. So if women are not worthy of God's inspiration and God's speech, then why should God speak to the wife, to the mother of Moses? This is number one. You come to another lady from the children of Israel, and that is Maryam. Angels spoke with Maryam. Angel spoke with Mary. Angel brought her food every day. كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا قال يا مريم أنى لك هذا قالت هو من عند الله. Every time Zechariah comes to the sanctuary to check on her, he finds food. So he's surprised. He says, Mary, where do you bring this food from? She says, it's from God. So angels are serving her. If women are not good and not qualified and they are secondary citizens and they are inferior to men, how can angels come and serve them? This is the second example. The third example, God says about Mary herself, صديقة وأمه صديقة. صديقة means truthful. And remember, this is not a small title. This is a big title, heavyweight title. Because God says about Ibrahim, واذكر في الكتاب إبراهيم إنه كان صديقا نبيا. Remember in the book Abraham, who was truthful and a prophet. So God is given the same title that gave it earlier to Abraham, the patriarch, the leader, the most important prophet, the father of all the prophets. He carried the title Siddiq, truthful. He gave the same title to Mary, who is a female. So if females are inferior to men, can they deserve the same title? They cannot. But God says they are equal. We don't have inferiority and superiority when it comes to human beings. When it comes to male and female, no one is superior to the other. This is a misconception. This is a patriarchy syndrome. Now, my friends, again, why then we don't find a female who is messenger of God, who is a prophet of God? Yes, we find the mother of Moses. She's highly respected. We find Mary, highly respected. We find Khadija, the wife of the Prophet, highly respected. We find Fatima Zahra. We find Zainab. We find many women. But why one of them is not a prophet or a messenger of God? Because, my friends, at that time, because of this patriarchy syndrome that did exist and dominate all societies, not just Arabia, not just Arabia, go to every culture at that time. Every culture. And in some cultures right now, they believe in the dominance of men. They believe in the patriarch society. They believe that men are first, women are second. And this, if you did exist at that time. So if God sends a female messenger, people are not going to follow her. Trust me. People are not going to take her serious, trust me. People are not going to respect her. Because in chapter 19, Maryam, Hannah, the wife of Imran, the mother of Mary, her name is Hannah, when she made a vow that when she conceives with a baby, she's going to dedicate that baby to serve the temple in Jerusalem. Now, when she conceived and she gave birth, the baby turned to be what? Female. She said, رَبِّ إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لَكَ مَا فِي بَطْنِي مُحَرَّرًا فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. And then God says, فَلَمَّا وَضَعَتْهَا قَالَتْ رَبِّ إِنِّي وَضَعْتُهَا أُنْثَى وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا وَضَعَتْ وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. When she bore the baby, she said, oh God, I born a female. And God knows what she bore. He knows. And then Quran continues to say, and male are not like female. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. So God is telling us, this is in news. He's telling us that at that time, that society of the children of Israel at that time in Palestine, they did not perceive men and women to be equal on the same page. They didn't. Women were not equal to men. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنْثَى. Now some people say, but God is saying this statement. Yes, God is saying this statement in the Quran, but God does not necessarily agree with it, because God says many statements in His book, but He doesn't agree. The statement that says, وَإِنْ يَكَادُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيُزْلِقُونَكَ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ لَمَّا سَمِعُوا الذِّكْرَ وَيَقُولُونَ إِنَّهُ لَمَجْنُونَ. The Meccans, when they hear you reading the book, they say he's majnoon, he's mad. Does God agree with them? Is it God who's saying that Muhammad is mad, insane, or the Meccans? It is the Meccans. God only is conveying the statement of the Meccans, but does not necessarily agree with it. Not every sentence said in this book, God says, I agree with it. Sometimes God is bringing you the statements of others, and some of them are non-believers, but He mentioned their statements in this book. So women are not equal to men. This is not the statement of God. This is the statement of that society at that time. They did not accept women as leaders. And remember, Hannah is a wife of a prophet. Zechariah is a prophet, an important prophet. And she's saying about Mary, she's not equal to men. So this is how society is perceived. And if God would send females, they would not follow. And God wants people to follow the messenger. This is like why some people say, why God sent this book in Arabic? Couldn't He send it in English, in German, in Russian, in Italian, in Spanish, and other languages? Because this book came to Arabia. And God says in Surah Al-Shu'ara, chapter 26, He says, وَلَوْ نَزَّلْنَاهُ عَلَى بَعْضِ الْأَعْجَمِينَ فَقَرَأَهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مَا كَانُوا بِهِ مُؤْمِنِينَ. Had we sent this book, had we sent it down upon non-Arabs, meaning in a non-Arabic language, and he, meaning Prophet Muhammad, recited unto them, unto the Arab of Mecca, they wouldn't have believed in it. They would not accept it from him, because it's a foreign language. So the people of Mecca, out of a prejudice, yes, they had a prejudice. They would not follow the book because it's non-Arabic. And therefore you, some of you who are non-Arabs and you still follow Islam, you are leaders. You have a credit, big credit, because the Quran is not in your language, but you still follow it. And it's not about language, my friends. It's about intelligence. If the Quran speaks to your mind and speaks to your soul, you accept it, whatever language it is. You don't care about language. Language is only a vehicle. But those Arabs of Mecca would still disagree with this vehicle. They want the Quran to be in Arabic, and this is why God said, I will send it in Arabic. I will send it in Arabic, so they have no more justifications to refuse it. So when God does not send female prophets, he's not saying that they are deficient. It's not about their natural deficiency. It's not about their moral deficiency or spiritual deficiency. It's about the deficiency of the society who cannot accept them. There is nothing wrong with women. There is wrong with the society who cannot accept a female as a messenger of God. Unfortunately, until today, my friends. Can the Pope in the Vatican be a female? Now in America we have this debate which is going on for so many years. Can a female be ordained in the Catholic Church? Or in some Protestant churches, Christian churches? They cannot. We still have this. In some parts of Judaism, a rabbi cannot be a female. Don't look at these Reformed churches and synagogues. But in many religions today, females cannot be religious leaders. Not because God said so, no. Because man says so, because of the society, because of the norms of the society. Has nothing to do with God. God is a just God, a caring God, a loving God. God who created men and women together. And He wants them to stay together and work together. And He does not discriminate between them. God is not a racist God. God is the God of equality, and equality always goes with parallel with justice. With justice. If there is no equality, there is no justice. And God is the God of justice. And we're going to continue on these subjects for the following nights, inshallah. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy your fast, enjoy your family. Maybe some of you cannot go to the mosques and Islamic centers, but you can turn your house into a mosque. وَاجْعَلُوا بُيُوتَكُمْ قِبْلَةً. God said to Moses and Aaron, to the children of Israel, make your homes to the direction of the Qibla. So we can make our homes sanctuaries and temples and worship with our families and enjoy our families. Stay safe. God bless you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.